For these questions, we're going to estimate the order of the fractions. So the directions say we're going to order the fractions by estimating their position. Estimating means that we just need to get kind of close to where the position or the spot is. And we're going to put that on the number line. Before we do that, I want to show you some things I know about fractions. The first thing I want to show you has to do with fractions that have a numerator of 1. So I have this fractions model here, and I've colored in all of the fractions with a numerator of 1. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6, and 1/7. What I want you to see is anytime you have a fraction with a numerator of 1, it's going to be less than a half. See, 1/3 is less than a half, 1/4 is less than a half, 1/5 is less. Any fraction you have with a numerator of 1 is going to be less than a half. Except for a half, because a half is a half. 1/2 is always the rule breaker. So the rule is any fraction with a numerator of 1 is less than a half. But there's another rule too. And this rule is about fractions that are in counting order, such as 2/3. So 2/3 goes all the way to here. 3/4 to here, 4/5 to here, 5/6 to here, 6/7 to here. And every fraction in counting order is more than a half. So here's a half, 2/3 is more, 3/4 is more, 4/5 is more, 5/6 is more, 6/7 is more. In fact, the higher the numbers in counting order, the closer to being a whole it is. So if you had 99/100ths, it would be even closer to the whole. The only one is the 1/2 that's a rule breaker. It's in counting order, but it's exactly 1/2. So the rule is any fraction with a numerator and denominator in counting order is more than a half. And there's one more rule that you already know, and that's any fraction with a numerator and denominator that are doubles are exactly a half. So if you know these rules, it's going to make these problems a little bit easier. So we're going to put them in order by estimating their position on a number line. So for number 1, I'm first going to draw a number line. It's going to go from 0 to 1, and right in the middle is going to go a half. Well, there it is, 1/2. Now I'm going to estimate the position of 3/4, but I know it's in counting order, so I know it's going to be more than a half. So 3/4 is going to go on this side of the number line. I don't have to get it exact because I'm just estimating. My last one is 1/4, and I see that it has a numerator of 1, so it's going to be less than a half. So it's going to go somewhere on this side of the number line. So just by estimating, I found out the order of these fractions. 1/4 is the smallest, then 1/2, and then 3/4. So let's look at another one. We're going to put these fractions on the number line. So here's my number line from 0 to 1. Well, 4/8 I know is exactly a half because half of 8 is 4. So right in the middle of my number line, I'm going to label 4/8. Now I need to do 1/5. And since it has a numerator of 1, I know it's going to be on the less than half side. So it's going to be somewhere on this side. And since 5/6 is in counting order, I know it's going to be somewhere on this side. So by estimating their place on the number line, I figured out the order. 1/5 is the smallest, and then 4/8, and then 5/6. So let's do one more. Here's our number line. We have 0 and 1. I know that 2/3 is going to be more than a half. So if this is a half, 2/3 is going to go somewhere around here. I don't have to get it exact, just a good estimate. I know that 5/10 is exactly a half, so it will go here. And 1/5, since it has a 1 in the numerator, it's going to be less than a half, so it's going to be somewhere around here. Now by just putting them on the number line, I know the order of the fractions. 1/5 is the smallest, and then 5/10, and then 2/3. All right, you try some on your own, and if you need help, you can come back and rewatch the video. Good luck!